We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.
Kadijah Okunnu Lamidi turned many heads when she became the first woman and the youngest Nigerian to announce a bid for the 2023 presidency. A daughter of a Lagos lawyer and former Works Minister Alhaji Femi Okunnu, Kadijah entered the political fray without giving an indication as to which political party she is with, and this has got some Nigerians questioning her political sagacity. Politics in Nigeria, they say, is not for the faint-hearted. And how does she intend to prove her doubters wrong? Well, joining us today, right here on Lagos Talks, we have the woman herself, Kadijah Okunnu Lamidi.
Hello, Nigerians. Thanks for having me.
All right, Kadijah, you turned a lot of heads, and you made quite a statement with your announcement. Dare I say you raised the bar? Where did this all start from?
Yes, this stemmed from, identifying the fact that there's a leadership gap in our politics. And this is quite obvious. You can see the road, the space that we're filling and the attention that we're getting. It shows that, what we've been accustomed to is not, it's not the status quo we should be okay with. And I just feel like it's time for the youth to get up and, take our role in nation building. Most of the leaders that we have now have been there. They grew old in office. They did not assume office at this age. They're just continuing their hold on power. So we need to get up. If we really want to see the change, we have to be the change we seek.
All right, interesting. We have to be the change we seek. Some have asked, and we put out questions on social media, so we're just going to run through a lot of the questions that the listeners to Lagos Talks have sent to us before now. But listening to the discussion online, on air, and in print, people are questioning your political experience. They say, they've never heard of you before. One of the names that they're used to. What do you say to that? And what's your political experience?
I'm definitely not a career politician. I am a technocrat. I'm an entrepreneur. And this notion of experience and what experience do you need for politics? You need sound judgment. You need leadership muscles, and you need, most importantly, the love for your country. You need to be able to pull a good team together and, create innovative public policy that would benefit, majority and all Nigerians. When we keep using age and experience, they're trying to close up the political space to the young ones. Meanwhile, most of the leaders, like I said, mentioned earlier, got in there when they were young. So why do they want to close up the space and move the goalposts now that, they see or they feel like there are young ones that could be competition to them?
Interesting. So people listening right now may want to know, your background, maybe your professional background, academic background. It matters these days. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm an entrepreneur. I started in the public as a public servant. So I worked in the Lagos State signage and advertisement agency. Okay, so
you're a former civil servant.
Yes, yes. Right. And I resigned. And at some point to start my own business. Mm-hmm. And I'm the founder CEO of Slice Media Solutions. Okay. We're media communication and marketing brand. Okay. We have so much accomplishments to our name. I'm sure you can check online to see what the works we've done. I'm also a humanitarian. We have water relief, which is a project where we're supplying, or we supply water to disenfranchised neighborhoods in the country. And I'm also a passionate Nigerian, one who does not want to see Nigeria fail. The project Nigeria and the brand Nigeria. I'm a very, very ardent patriot. That's one thing that I'm sure everybody who has ever crossed my path would attest to. These are the qualifications I think you're asking for. even though these okay, yes, and then my academic background. So I have a BSc in business management from the University of Bolton, and I have a master's in strategic project management from the Heriot-Watt University. So these are academic, but I'm sure you realize that in our politics, they don't even require this much educational background, which is one of the issues we have. I'm not saying that we don't have people with natural or native intelligence, but sometimes it needs to be refined to some extent for us to all work together and create policies that work for the public.
I'd like to look at that for a bit, because I did some check on you on your page. Those things are not there right now, but I saw all the time you were sharing some water to people in some local communities and all that. And I usually tell people, for instance, when you say not too young to run, that this leadership thing is not a right, or just take it. And running is not just about running for office, but what are you running for? What are you doing in your community apart from your 9 to 5 or your business? So tell us. You talked about water relief. What's that about? It's
a not-for-profit project where we distribute water. We identify. Even now, we identify disenfranchised communities, and we realize that even the basic infrastructure, basic amenities, we don't have. Water is a basic need. I can't imagine waking up in the morning and not having a drop of water in the house. And there are people who wake up, that is their daily reality every day. So, this is one thing that I know as a woman that I understand, and it affects so many other aspects of people's lives. The women, the young girls, because we are generally, the caretakers in the house. So that affects, a girl going to school. She must make sure there's water in the house before she can leave to go. There are just so many things that come into play. Hospitals, even with COVID, with the pandemic, you need to have clean water. You need to be able to wash your hands at so many points in time in during the course of the day. There's some people that don't have this infrastructure, and the government is not thinking about basic infrastructure for the populace. They're thinking their direction is totally off track. They've totally lost direction. You're a government for the people, and you are put there by the people. But obviously, majority, and this is another thing I'm trying to ensure that the populace understands. Maybe they were not there by the people. The voter turnout, they are serving those who come out to vote for them, which is 20%. So we need to wake up. More people need to get involved in the election process, so that you account. Whoever you elect is accountable to you. Right now, they are only accountable to 20% of the population, who are the people who actually came out to vote. You need to go up, get out, and go register to vote. I know you might think, my vote doesn't count. It does. If it doesn't count, they won't be trying to silence us. They won't be trying to get you, disinterested. They won't be trying to use fear to get you out of the system. They won't be trying to, make you feel like you're too young to lead. These things are.
Is that what you faced?
When?
Since you announced.
Some
fear tactics, people are trying to get you disinterested, maybe?
They say that when you're walking in the right path, you should feel a sense of calm, which is what I've been feeling. And I'm thankful for that. You're not supposed to feel agitated or, any kind of fear in any way. So another thing is, I don't want anybody to think also that they have the monopoly of violence. Nobody has the monopoly of violence, but they make us feel like they are the only ones who, so we're trying to reach out. Even the guys who most times go and disrupt elections are youth. So the message is clear. It's for everyone. It's for the youth across the board. We have even people living with disability. I mentioned at another interview, I speak to them, and it's so unfortunate that we've missed the whole block, because we don't even understand that, people's abilities come in different ways. So we don't even, the access to basic amenities they don't have. So how are they supposed to contribute to the public, to our knowledge base? So there's so many blocks that we need to reorganize and reignite and retap so that we can all come together. And that's why unity is quite important. They've tried to keep us separated just to ensure that they stay in power. So we need to speak to ourselves and understand that we have the power in our hands. We just need to use it.
Yeah, I listened to your announcement speech, and at the point towards the end, you said you're putting parties on notice, that you are interested in running for the office of president. Have any political parties reached out to you since then?
Yes. Most of them, yes.
Most of the parties?
Yes.
You have quite a lot of them in the country. Which parties have reached out to you?
Well, a few of them. We're in talks and we would make a decision. The thing is, just like with everything we're doing now, we need to make a clear decision.
Okay.
And we need to direct the people to a clear vision.
Wow.
Through a clear vision. So we're not going to just go into a party. We need to understand that their manifesto is going to serve the people. They're going to allow, it's not going to be usual party politics as usual. So we're trying to make that clear decision, and so we can direct the focus and the imaginations of everybody who are ardent supporters towards that party and ensure that we don't make a mistake.
The view that you just said, I want to be president, and hey, come for me. And you're just going to sit down and wait for them, and that they wouldn't even look your way because you should go knocking on their doors. But what you're saying is that political parties have come.
Oh, yeah, we're in conversations.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you're saying the ideology of the party will inform which you choose?
Yes.
Have any of the two major political parties come to you yet?
The
two major, APC and PDP, have any of them come knocking on your door so we know?
No.
Not yet.
No.
If any of these two parties come knocking on your door, would you listen to them?
I won't say they haven't come knocking, but I think we're not looking at those two parties.
Okay. They came knocking, but is it that they didn't give you the right offer, or they didn't come with the right message? Maybe.
Yes, obviously their ideology and what they stand for, I don't think is what we need in Nigeria right now. Okay,
what did they say? What was it they said that really that didn't appeal to you?
No, they didn't say. It's already in our own vision for how we want to go as a youth. To come, with less baggage and to come fresh.
So they were interested in having you as a candidate, giving you a chance to contest.
We didn't have conversations that far.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. You're not giving much away, are you?
No, we didn't have conversations that far.
Okay. So you're saying if the APC or PDP calls you tomorrow and says, Kadijah, we want you to be our sole candidate, you're saying you won't consider any of them?
We can't run on those platforms, no.
You feel they're not good enough for you?
I wouldn't say they're not for our vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have a large following. These are the two biggest parties.
I'm sure.
What kind of political party are you looking out for? What's the ideology that will appeal to you?
A party that is willing to create a grand coalition of interests. A party that is willing to go above party politics. A party that will ensure that their manifesto is followed to the T, that will put the right officers in place, and will give room for negotiations with interest groups. And these interest groups are not party groups. They're interests of the country. Interest groups, unions, organizations that would determine how far any public policies that are put in place, how far they go. So they have work to do, And at the end of the day, it's not really about, like we said, it cannot be about personalities. Politics should not be about personalities. They have to be about the people. So we're looking for a political party that is willing to put down, the egos and all the in-house bickering to ensure that there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger goal, and that's who we're looking.
You used the term grand coalition, or the word coalition. Some political experts have said, or political pundits have said, for the current political establishment and system to be fixed, corrected, or dismantled, so a better one can be built, that it will take a concerted efforts of different political interests coming together to form some sort of third force. If you, and we've seen in the last election that some of the so-called outsiders, the likes of Kingsley Moghalu, the likes of Omoyele Sowore, the likes of Obiageli Ezekwesili, and of course Falado Otere, formed a sort of coalition, but it didn't work, and there was a split, and people they ended up popping up on the ballot paper. People expect that these are the kinds of people who can get together and can bring something up because of their background, their track record and experience, and what we know them for. If you were to get a political party platform and you were a candidate, would you be willing to step aside in the interest of forming a coalition to push one person forward?
In the interest of the nation?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. In the interest of the nation, I would do anything in the interest of the nation.
Why would you want to step aside?
When you say step aside,
yes,
we're talking about something bigger than anybody. I told you it's not about personalities. Let the interest of the country come first in everything you do. I'm here offering myself in service. Like I keep telling you, position is not power. We need to understand our power and get back to that. We need to get back to our essence. Like I said, anything can work if you don't care who gets the credits. And that's where we get it wrong in Nigeria. We always want the credit. Everybody wants to build their own party. Everybody wants to build their own this. Everybody wants to build their own. We need to have greater coalitions. And these can only happen if there are elements in the group that will allow it to keep moving and keep driving it. And that is who I am. This is why I'm here, to ensure that we just make it work. We make the country work. I'll go to each and every interest group and see how do we make it work? Okay, let's negotiate. Let's push it. Let's make it happen. But it requires doggedness. It requires tenacity. It requires you to not give up. And that's why you need youthfulness. Money cannot buy this. You need people who have the strength and who have the ability and agility to go through with it, because Nigeria needs work. It doesn't need money. You cannot use money to replace or replenish the work that needs to be done. Work must be done for it to be fixed. We cannot go by people buying their way through things. It's not going to work. We need people to get up and understand that it requires the work. The work must be put in. And that's why I'm here. I need to use my youthfulness for something positive. I have the strength, I have the ability now. I need to put it in and many of us are going to have to put this work in for it to actually move.
Interesting. So you'll be willing, like you said, to step aside if you are part of a coalition.
Yes.
Okay, in the interest of the nation. That's profound. Some would say that you're putting the cart before the horse. That you should have looked for a political party whose ideology aligns with your ideals and your values. Register as a member of that party, have your membership card, belong to a ward and all that, and then pursue your ambition within that party, rather than announce and then say, okay, I'm going to pick which party I think will best suit my philosophy and ideals. What do you say to that?
How do you raise the bar? You have to raise the bar. You have to maintain your status quo and then ensure that you don't go below it. So here we are. We're here. We're having this conversation because a status quo has been established. Now it's left to, like I said, we're running on the mandate of the people. This is what the people deserve. They don't deserve anything less. So we are here and we started conversations. Now we need to let the people understand what could be, the hope for the future, how we're going to get there. You need to give them clear steps on how to get there within their personal lives and within the politics of the country, so that we can all move forward as a nation. Like I keep telling you, it's not about self. Everything you say, okay, go and start, and I understand where you're coming from. This is the mentality. We've been conditioned to think small and to always be at the receiving end. We need to start driving our country. We need to start being in charge of our own country.
So you're responding to those who are saying you should have started from somewhere, maybe started from your state, which is legal state, to run for office, senatorial seat, House of Representatives, maybe House of Assembly or local government chairmanship, and then build your political experience from there, cut your teeth there. And that's what you're responding to. What do you say to that?
Yes, that's the same. It's the same thinking. These narratives are put forth to close the political space. Just like we talked about age and experience, they're talking about start somewhere as well. This has been a call to duty. This is what I've been called to do, and I've gone for it. There are so many other Nigerians who are credible and who are experienced and who have maybe have not thought about it, and I'm hoping a whisper would ignite the ambition. They can run for these seats, and these seats are open. There's no seat that is reserved for anybody, and I need us to come back, because ambition is key. In Nigeria, they've almost practically killed our ambition. Ambition is what drives the country forward. People getting up and having the energy to want to push forth, but it's almost like they're killing our ambitions. They'll just tell you, go sit aside. It's not your turn. Go sit aside. So by the time you get to the age where your ambition is dwindling, is when they give you whatever that you can do. So you don't have the energy to drive it forward. And so most of the young ones don't even get the ambition anymore. Ambition is a way, I believe, that countries are spoken to from in a higher being, where they tell you, they give you a mission and they give you a duty to do. But if that is being killed on a daily basis, then where do you find Nigeria is filled with bubbly human beings? But we seem so flat.
Everybody wants to leave the country. I was just listening to you, and I just thought about something funny. The typical politician, Nigerian politician, will come to a radio station, and whilst leaving, may just say, "Oh, take this for water." You yourself, your colleagues, just buy some lunch. What do you think about that? Have you had to do that, or has anything been demanded from you?
Nobody has demanded anything.
Nobody has demanded anything. What do you think that is wrong?
The only things that we are inclined to do is give our merchandise, which I mean is only good for it will be good for optics.
But what do you think about that? So
now,
nothing goes for nothing.
if you're I don't know if you don't have any relationship, or I don't know what the circumstances are, but generally we are running, like I said, a campaign of a message and a campaign of a vision. So if we're able to sell the vision and let everybody know where they fit in, I think it's only right that we plan. Those who plan to fail to plan, and those who fail to plan to fail. So I think we should start thinking more of what our future holds. I think I'm here now standing because I realize that my future is in jeopardy. The future of my children is in jeopardy if I don't get up, my grandchildren. I'm sure everybody here at some point in time must have had those thoughts as well. Even you can say, I'm comfortable, I'm doing okay, but it will go even to your human rights. They will be trampled on at some point. Everything is going to be trampled on. if we're not careful. And these are things that I believe we need to be gatekeepers of.
Okay. It's said in a local proverb that if there's a masquerade dancing in the village square, there's someone beating the drums for that masquerade to dance. I certainly haven't seen a masquerade dancing without someone playing some drums. I don't know if you've seen, I'm sure your masquerade in Lagos, when they're dancing, somebody will be playing some drums. So
who is the masquerade here first?
So you are the center of attractions. So the question on some people's minds is, who is playing the drums for Kadijah? Who is the unseen hand, behind the scene, making things tick? Who is behind this lady? Some people are saying she didn't just come out. There's something at play.
It must be the drums of the nation. It must be.
There you go again. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it maybe an anyway. It takes one person, to play a drum. So.
Why are we so? So I cannot answer the call of duty to my country. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying?
You tell me.
Well, I'm answering the call of duty, and so help us God. We would keep going, and we would succeed. So
there's no one playing the drums behind you.
My team.
Your team, okay. Politics is an expensive venture. If you're running for the office of a councillor, you spend money to buy a form. You spend money to run a campaign. And to do some projects or give back to society, to let people see, appeal to the people and to win hearts and minds, like you said to me earlier. Let alone running for the president, it's an expensive venture. You have to visit all the 36 states and the FCT. You have to fly people and yourself. Femi Fani-Kayode was asked a question by a journalist. He was offended. I mean this question in no offensive way. Who is bankrolling you? Who is bankrolling Kadijah Okunnu Lamidi?
The Nigerian populace. We're crowdfunding. That's it.
How do you mean?
We're crowdfunding on our platforms and on our websites. You'd find our account details, which can be audited. It will be audited monthly and put on the platform.
Okay.
So the Nigerian people, every 1,000 they donate, and every 5,000 they donate.
So you're saying there is nobody who is sponsoring, supporting. Let me use the word.
Those are our supporters.
No, I'm not. I'm saying someone some. Benevolent person.
I have many supporters. Many of them are the Nigerian people.
You're telling me no one encouraged you behind the scenes before you came out to, inform Nigerians of your candidature? You're telling me there's no one who is encouraging you. We don't need names. Just silently.
Everyone I know is encouraging me.
Okay.
Every single person, everybody that I have spoken with, that I have asked advice from. At the end of the day, the decision lies in your heart. When you decide, you know what you want to do. So yes, everyone has been supportive.
Are you confident you can raise the money you need to run an effective campaign from crowdfunding?
Yes.
You're confident?
Yes.
Okay. What's your budget? You have a budget, I'm sure. What's your budget?
Yes, we have a budget, but
how much do you intend to raise? What would it cost you to run a campaign?
Well,
from your calculations,
we are updating that every day.
But so far, what do you have? How much have you figured it will cost you to run your campaign effectively?
That would come. I'll let you know of that later, not now.
You don't want to put it because you're supposed to be running transparent and be different from the other politicians.
But we're not able to.
Since everything is in the open.
You're speaking like we have some huge funds sunk somewhere. No,
I'm just asking
we are because we need to be sustainable.
Yeah.
So that's why crowdfunding is working for us.
But what's your target? Budget, not to say you have money already, a budget to say this is what you've figured from your calculations.
It's a lot of money. Nigerians, please donate. It's a lot of money. We need a lot of money.
How much are we looking at? In the name of transparency, in the name of of running an all-inclusive open campaign?
It's running into millions. It's running into millions.
How many millions are we talking about?
That's good enough. It's running into millions. You're
coming out, Kadijah, as a different candidate. Nothing hidden.
Yes.
Everything in you.
So, but we're still trying to put, we've got so much in kind. We have so many volunteers, almost to the thousands. People are coming with their skills. They're coming with their crafts. They're coming with where you can't put a monetary amount to it. So we have so much in kind that that you can't. I don't. We have to put that into figures.
Because someone could be listening in here saying, "Okay, Kadijah says she needs X amount of money.
We do need money.
I'm going to just give a support on it silently that amount of money. But if you don't tell them, they won't know.
No, but you'd see our books once we start publishing that. You understand what we are needing in a. But on the crowdfunding
sites, are you crowdfunding on your website?
Yes,
okay,
we have.
You've not stated your goal.
What do you say?
Your goal. Have you stated?
We need to be updated. I think we need to be updated every day. So our website is www.kolnigeria.com. Instagram is KOL_Nigeria.
That's a marketing person talking to you.
Same with Twitter. Same with Facebook. Please, we need donations. As we're coming as as we are. We're accountable to your monies.
How much have you raised so far?
Maybe about.
Has anyone asked you this question?
Nobody has
on any of the stations.
Nobody has.
All right, so you remember me.
Yes.
How much have you raised so far?
Don't worry. You also have to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
So I have been able to. I have to use some of my funds as well, and I'm not going to run something that I'm not willing to put my risk my own money on. So I put my money on my head first, and then we're looking at donations.
Okay, all right. Kadijah, I've divided this interview into two parts. Firstly, to look at your person and the questions that people are asking about you, and then secondly, look at policy. So a few more questions about your person and your experience and all that. I had a conversation with what I call political outsiders. Someone who is not a career politician, like you said, but someone who came from outside of politics, try and break in, and to try and see how he can have the change. And I've spoken to a couple of these people, and he shared his experience with me, and he said his language has totally changed from what he's seen, what it takes to be in Nigeria politics. It's different from the ideals he had, and he, people like that will say, for anyone who is in the position I was in as an outsider, when they come in, their perspective will change. For instance, having a financial war chest, and having the mentality that the people you want to serve sometimes would say you're speaking too much grammar. I'm sure you've heard that before. What do you have for me? Are you ready to fight dirty?
What do you mean dirty?
To get dirty. By dirty I mean to play politics the Nigerian way.
But we're not going to play with the minds of Nigerians. That's what dirty politics.
Okay, for instance, you talked about hearts and minds. Mm-hmm. So I spoke to one political outsider and coach, and he said, "See, next time I'm going to share money. I'm going to go to people and say, take this money and vote for me." Because he said, see, the people I went to campaign to, and I told them a lot of things and how I'm going to make things better, and how the guys who had been there all the while had been cheating them. They said, oh, they're going to vote for me. And on the day of the elections, he saw something different. They collected 5,000 naira and voted for his opponent, who didn't even have a proper manifesto.
Okay.
So he, the idea is that the people out there want something. That's just the way it is.
However,
what do you say to that?
Yeah. However, I think that I'm not sure we as Nigerians can go lower than this. I think the 5,000 and 1,000 they've been collecting all these years, I'm not sure it has added any benefit to
It may
their
be
lives.
bags of rice. It could be
whatever,
wrappers
whatever,
of
whatever,
Ankara.
whatever it is that they've collected. You know, when I look at it,
Not on election day. Sorry to interrupt you, but maybe women's group has come.
You know, when you think about it, I noticed even the women that have participated in these things. You realize that the bag of rice or the 5,000 they collected, some of these women are able to put their children through university, from primary to university. They didn't survive on that 5,000 naira. They didn't survive on it, but they always thought that that's the only thing that they have for them. So we need to start letting them, if you don't have a government with a vision, you need to be able to send the right message to them. That 5,000 has done absolutely nothing in their lives. They've sent their children to school, their children are in university, their children have come out, and you just wonder, like, okay, how much lower can we go? I think we are at the lowest in Nigeria. We can't go any lower than this, and if we go any lower than this, then the Nigeria is gone. So we're at a very, very critical time, and at this point, like you said, someone came and said, "Oh, he's going to change it." Well, that's his willpower speaking. He's not able to, or he wasn't able to send his message the best way possible. Not to knock him, but here we are, about to embark on the same journey. I don't want to look at all the pitfalls and all the things that could go wrong. We're going to maintain a positive mindset. We're not going to play with the minds of Nigerians. The politics we are used to is mind playing politics, and it's politics to just capture your mind, capture everything, and just put you in a box. We want to liberate Nigerians.
Okay, the challenge I've seen, as having covered several elections, a number of elections in Nigeria as a journalist, and spoken to many politicians and political candidates, and having listened to the people, we're in the middle here as journalists. The challenge, some would say, is a high voter or voter literacy, in terms of, they don't know the questions to ask, they don't know the demands to make, they do not know even how to determine who is right and wrong, to even know whether collecting this money or not is correct. We have high voter illiteracy in this part of the world. And, people vote on sentiments, I'm sure you'd agree. The vote on religion, grounds of ethnicity. The geopolitics is heavy as far as the voters in Nigeria are concerned. How do you intend to surmount this? Because it's one thing having the ideas, and it's another thing understanding dynamics and what drives the people, which is what these guys capitalize on.
Yeah, they capitalize on our division, that's for sure. So what we need to do, like we talked about earlier, is, connect with the grassroots. There's no interest group that is out of play. We need to identify and go to all the grassroots politicians. Now, with the ones I've been speaking with, I think they too are at a point in time where they understand that they've been taking for a ride all these years. Some of them still cannot afford to send their children to good schools. So what's the essence of the politics that you're playing? What's the essence of playing with the minds of your people? What's the point? So if this is the message we're carrying across, and people are resonating with people, because I would say it's the right time, it's the right message, and it comes with the best of intentions. So when you have a combination like that, it would get to the people. And the fact that it's coming from not their regular, we're coming from a different angle. As a female, if anything is going to work, you need to have a female in the room. And that's what we call feminine energy. So now that it's coming from someone who they can identify as a sister, as a mother, as a daughter, it's now a lifestyle or a life moment change, where you're thinking, okay, wow, we could have been complaining all this while, but now it's actually, it's time to check ourselves. It's time to, actually do the right thing. So all we're doing is identifying parts of us that need to be reawakened. It's not that we don't have it. It's not that we generally are not great people, and that's who we are. We just have to. They've played with on our minds so long that after that happens for a long time, you just stay. You stay in that box, and you think venturing out is dangerous. But we need to get back to our natural states.
Okay, let's move on to policy. Of course, campaigning has not kicked off with the INEC timetable yet to be released. But when you start, when your campaigns kick off, what will you be campaigning on? What policies and what will you be campaigning on, basically?
Okay. We're consulting at the moment. We're still, our consultations are going. However, once the campaign kicks off, we'll actually, start giving you, workable documents on all the policies that we're working on, and then that's how you see when we start rolling these things out.
All right. That's pretty smart. One doesn't want to fall foul of the law. Yes. But let's talk about your thoughts on aspects of Nigerian national life. Let's start with the unity of the country. Several politicians and political leaders have said Nigeria's unity is non-negotiable. Recently, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, says, Nigeria will remain united. The agitation for secession in different parts of the country, especially the south east and the southwest. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now?
We need to come to an understanding. You can't force a unity. You have to endear the unity, and this is where maybe the hardline politics needs to the hardline politics is no longer viable anymore. So we need to actually go sit with each other and speak about what these issues are, these underlying issues, and for me, I feel like that's the first step. We need to go around while we're, through all this. When we start our campaigning, they need to see us as neutral. That's why we're as neutral as we can be, so that we can actually find solutions to the issues. We're not coming from the angle of from a regional angle or from a religious angle, even from a gender angle. We're coming across totally out of the norm.
So you're not going to be boxed.
Yes. So we're able to actually sit down and negotiate and talk about the issues on ground and find solutions.
Okay.
To them.
What are your thoughts on Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB?
Well, I would rather not state as all the things that I think.
What do you think about the trial? Do you think probably some have said there should be a political solution? He should be released. If he agrees to, step down his demands and
I'd like to, I'd like to really, I would like more conversation on his plans. What are his plans? The aftermath of his his trial. What are his plans? What were the things? What are the things that he's agitating for his people? Because he's speaking on behalf of a sizable amount of people. So we need to find out
for a nation of Biafra to be
that's only because they are.
They want a referendum.
Yes, but that's coming from dissatisfaction.
But a referendum is I think if you look at the international statutes and all that, it's acceptable and allowed international.
That's coming from dissatisfaction, like we mentioned. They feel like they are being ostracized and marginalized. So we need to. That's what we need to handle. You can't force, like I say, you can't force a union. You need to sit down. There needs to be conversations going about how to salvage the situation.
One of the things that will make the Southeast feel less marginalized is if they produce the next president, which means that you don't get to run. Mm-hmm. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm still in the race, and the ultimate goal is that we need to see the candidates that emerge. We've set a bar. Any candidates that are going to get up and say that they want to run for office of the president, we need to be able to interrogate them just like you're interrogating me. What we've seen over the years is that we don't get to...
asking questions.
You're interrogating. What we've seen over the years is that we don't get to meet the candidates. We always are presented a candidate, and that is not the way forward. We noticed that this was the norm, so that's why one of the reasons why we stepped out early, so that the truth doesn't come out. You have to find it. You have to try and nudge at it as long as possible. So we're offering ourselves. This is service. This exactly here is it. Nobody enthroned us. Nobody installed us. Nobody anointed us. It's not a seat for that. It's a seat where you have to. What's politics? You mingle. You have to mix with the people. You have to they have to have enough time with you to understand you and say, okay, this is what we want, or this is who we want. So the end goal is all the candidates that emerge. We need to be able to get through all the, the initial, the initial, what do you call it? Their initial, you need to get to the roots, the nitty-gritty of who they are, and understand how this person or that person's ideology can sink in with what you want your life to be. There has to be a merge of ideas, and the team or the populace has to become the team of the country. It's not.
So everyone needs to feel a sense of belonging again.
Yes, everybody needs to take part in it. It's your country. It's not anybody else's country.
Some people agree with you. They say, for instance, that really Nigeria's, yes, of course, the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is flawed. They have flaws, but really, if Nigerians have good leadership and everybody feels a sense of belonging, they would even forget about the 99 Constitution, because everybody is just okay. Let's look at the economy. I want you to describe the Nigerian economy today in one word. One word. Think about it. Describe the economy in one word.
Underproducing.
Okay. You're underproducing. So that means that you really have a focus on production.
Yeah.
With the economy in serious turmoil, and you have a nation basically borrowing money to survive, things are not too good, right? What are your thoughts on how Nigeria's economy can be fixed?
First thing is cost of governance. We don't need this. We don't need to pay so much to be governed. We're governing the people, not ourselves. So why is the cost of governance so high? Most of the monies is on recurrent expenditure. Like, why the government is supposed to create an enabling environment for industries to thrive, for sectors to thrive. The government should not be the biggest spender. The government is not supposed. This is not how it's supposed to work. And I guess many people who feel benefiting from that, it's quite difficult for you to make a change with that. So it's time for us to actually do what is right and what we're supposed to do, because most of these people can find. You have to be able to be successful as an individual. You're not supposed to live on the government. You should be able to be a successful individual if you want to run a government, if you want to be part of running a government. So you should be able to make a living. That's the whole point. So it's your skills that you're contributing in service, not the other way around.
So talking about the high cost of governance in Nigeria, one of the factors of this, the contributors to this, will be the large labor force, or the size of the labor workforce in government. Is this something you think should be reduced?
Well, we're figuring out ways in which we can go about that.
But for you as a person, do you think we should reduce the size of the government labor force?
Like I said, we're deciding on how best to handle that.
Okay. You seem to have, talking about government should not be the largest spender. Some school of thought, some economic schools of thought will take a different view and a different approach to this. You seem to be a capitalist. Am I correct?
I'm
Sorry,
sure
I'm going to put you in a box, but
no.
because
it's an infusion. Definitely a socialist and definitely a capitalist. It's
at the
an
same
infusion.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. To hear you're a socialist, that's also interesting. You're sure?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, some would say, you know, we look at the socialist school of economics. You know, you look at the fact that government should spend more to provide health, to provide
basic
amenities, you know, and all that, and basically the factors of production, you know. So, but you're saying government shouldn't be spending?
What, you know, like I said, on recurrent expenditure that we have right now, what we have, what we need to be spending on is basic amenities, because that's where the shortfall is. We can't be spending that much in government and we still don't have the basic amenities, the basic infrastructure still not there. So we've not even scratched the surface, and we're spending this much. So we have to reorganize that in one way, shape, or form. And you know, there are experts that would give us these solutions. However, we need the political will to do it, and that's what that office offers.
What do you think, if you were to choose one sector that needs to be addressed first, you know, to basically solve most of the problems in the country, which sector would that be?
You know, because everything is interwoven, it's quite easy to say it's one. But I think first what we need to first get right is the office of the citizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you say so? Why does that really matter, the office of the citizen?
Because that's where you bring up and you hold your public officers accountable to do what they say that they're going to do. Okay. Interesting. Let's look at the security challenges that Nigeria is facing today. We have had Boko Haram before. We now have ISWAP, you know, Islamic State in West Africa. We have, you know, so-called banditry and other things going on. We have herdsmen killings and clashes and all that. We have intertribal and communal clashes, you know, for instance, in Kaduna State and other parts, Benue State, you know, different parts of the state and tribes fighting each other. We have the unknown government in the southeast, and several other issues. Militancy is there still, in a way, they're still there. Cultism and gangsterism is there as well. I mean, it's a hotbed for anyone to rule in Nigeria, to sit on the seat of president. And what are your thoughts? Because we know you're campaigning. What are your thoughts on the security challenges and how best to fix them? Like I said, nothing can be done by just sitting and, you know, and, you know, hard-handed. I'm coming in with a different approach, and you know, this hard-handed approach has not worked. We need to actually, like I said, we need to actually go to each and every region. Like I mentioned, no region is out of bounds to me. No region is going to slip out of my my grip on making sure that we find a solution to it. And yes, we're going to work assiduously, and you know, with everything that we have, everything, and obviously with God's backing, we have to go for these things, and it's not going to fix itself. I understand there's fear in the land, there's this, but we have to do it. Nobody's going to do it for us.
So how do you think that can be achieved? You know, peace in Nigeria?
Negotiations. We need to go around and we need to...
Negotiate with bandits? Negotiate with terrorists? Negotiate with unknown gunmen? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to negotiate how we're going to manage the situation using the security forces. The security forces...
Are you saying that you think we should unleash the army on Well, anyway, there are soldiers in the southeast.
You're just trying to get me in a corner, and it's not going to work.
Well,
Kofi.
I'm just looking for your
at the end of the day, the reason why so many people are being enlisted in all this is idleness. There's no work. There's nothing to do. There's no education. Everything is interwoven. So even if we unleash the military, we unleash the Navy, we unleash, the Navy and the military and the police also have their own issues that we need to solve. We need to solve their basic welfare. We need to on the education of their children. So this thing is a continuum if we do not start from the bottom. So it might look like we're going for the top job, but we are starting from the basics. We need to start from the scratch again and build up so we can close the gap. The gap is going to come closed up from the bottom. So there are so many aspects to it, but if you create a policy that doesn't have a high entry that can't go far and doesn't have a rebound effect, then we're having issues. So we need everything has to fit on each other, and they have to fit seamlessly.
Interesting. You talked about idleness as one of the causes of insecurity, which of course is related to unemployment. In different parts of the world, it's a big issue. It's a campaign issue, and it's an issue on which presidents are judged. Jobs. What are your thoughts and ideas as to how to fix the high unemployment problem in Nigeria?
Okay, well, we're going to use a lot of innovation and technology. That's one of the fastest and easiest ways we can leapfrog in terms of the job markets and trainings and everything else that's comes with that. So we're able to use information technology and innovative solutions to solve those issues. So yes, that's an amazing tool that anybody can use. It's more adaptable to the youth, and it's something that they can learn and they can move with as fast to be on the global stage and global markets and compete toe to toe. So that's one way that we can use to solve that.
All right, on Twitter, Chinedu Ama has a question for you. He said, what strategy do you have to secure your first 100,000 votes?
Am I supposed to tell my strategy here?
We
have a strategy in place.
He said, yeah,
and we're working towards it. At the end of the day, it's all about using our team and our volunteer base, but also getting out there to meet the people.
Okay, he said a friend of his who he had a conversation with a friend of his who is an intending candidate at the state level. He says you cannot battle the APC and PDP for market women and Okada rider votes.
Thank you for the information.
Okay, but you think that is not true?
I think it's not true.
Okay. All right. Someone says it's too late. You're late. You should have started. That some people who are running next year have been preparing since 2015.
Okay. Well, I got up and I'm doing my part. It's easier said than done. I've got up and I'm running the race, and I'm already finally put my hat in the ring on behalf of millions and millions of Nigerians. So I'm doing my part.
All right. That question was sent in by Igba PK Godwin. Catalonia on Twitter says the petroleum industry is a major problem. He's talking about our economy. How do you hope to put this right? So basically, of course, we are a major crude oil exporter, but we are still importing petrol. And this affects a lot of things. The government is planning to remove the subsidy. Labour is planning to embark on national strike, which would in turn make things even more harder. What are your thoughts on this?
Like I said, I don't want to
Your own personal thoughts, not your campaign policy.
No, you can't ask me my personal thoughts. They're the same, one and the same.
Mm.
So yes, those will come out as we roll along in our.
You think subsidy should be removed?
We'll talk about that once we're ready to speak on that.
You think Labour should go on strike?
We'll talk about that.
Okay, all right.
I don't think Labour should. I'm appealing. I think that's what it is. Let me appeal.
Your own personal thoughts, basically. Or you want to wait till the campaign time?
Yes.
Okay. All right. He's also asking your blueprint to move Nigeria away from being solely oil dependent nation.
Same.
Wow. Okay. All the questions here about what you do or what, but I'm basically asking for your thoughts.
Yeah, but we have to bring out a policy paper. Unless all our, at the end of the day, these are strategies in which we want to use to move the country forward.
Mm. All right. When should people expect the policy paper to be out?
Once the campaign, kicks off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any final thoughts from you, Kadijah, before we go? I would like to ask, your personal views on LGBTQI. I'm sure you didn't see that coming in Nigeria.
I would not want to comment on it, but the truth about it is, I'm pro-human. I'm pro-human. Everybody's human, and I love and cherish every human life, and that is what I have to say on that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you very much for your time. It's been interesting having you on Lagos Talks 91.3. And of course, this is the dial as far as the election 2023 is concerned. Kadijah Okunnu Lamidi is one to watch as far as the elections are concerned. And I must say that one of the things I noticed is that you took some time to think about some of the questions. And I think that's a sign that you were not giving me anything you wanted to say. You really wanted to be honest.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. I have interviewed many of them. So, further I have to think about it. It says some things. All right, Kadijah, thank you very much for your time.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.